at least solve these problems once and for all, because we have a lot of busybodies around. You'll find that land is actually changing hands. In 5 years, almost 4 or 5 owners of this kind of businesses. The Speaker, I want the Department of Lands to take this very seriously so I can be able to sort out this problem once and for all. So I want to ask Sambai, I think, even the Minister for Lands to come here to be able to explain some of these things, because this is very common. It's not only your place, very common even in my own area. Your people own land, and there are busybodies around. So I support this petition, and look forward to having a solution once and for all for this country. Thank you.
Robert Mbui.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I also rise to support the petition by the Honorable Buyer on this Munarani land petition. And Mr. Speaker, the issue of land are very, very emotive. In fact, it's one of those things that every time we have an issue to do with land, chances are that someone might even lose their lives in the process, because this is many times a matter of life and death. And so the issue of ownership of land needs to be addressed historically, because, you know, at the beginning, land didn't belong to any individuals. And so when people started acquiring parcels of land, all the way up to now, it's important that we look at the history of how that happened. And Mr. Speaker, nobody is safe from the people who want to grab land. Recently, we saw two former heads of state. Their land was invaded by grabbers who fortunately did not end up sharing that piece of land. So we have to be very careful. And Mr. Speaker, just to know how serious it is, we came up with the new lands courts, and they're very, very busy, Mr. Speaker. They're some of the courts that are very busy. Finally, Mr. Speaker, I want to say that the National Lands Commission and the Ministry of Lands needs to have individuals in their offices, officers that are very highly disciplined. It was shocking to see a senior government officer who is also in that office of lands brandishing a gun on a matter of land. And I think, Mr. Speaker, these are things that we need to condemn in the strongest terms possible. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Anthony Olwoch. Clark, what is happening to the screen? Can you alert your technicians? Anton Olwoch, go ahead.
Thank you. Thank you, Honorable Speaker, and I want to thank Honorable Buyer for bringing up this petition. As the committee looks at this petition, I think they need to broadly look at it in terms of what the Constitution also provides. Because if you look at how land tenure systems change into this country, it is something that the Constitution emphatically says that whenever land tenure system changes, either from community land to public land, or from public land, vice versa, Parliament and the sanction of Parliament ought to be taken into consideration. We have a situation in which land changes in terms of its land use, including in Nairobi, Honorable Speaker, without the sanction of Parliament. Parliament ought to stamp its authority in terms of what is provided under Article 94(5) of the Constitution, which provides that anybody who does anything that has the provision of law must have the sanction of Parliament. And secondly, we have a committee called the Implementation Committee. I want to urge this committee that even after they come up with their report on this, the Implementation Committee must make follow-up, because I have one case in which the Land Committee, in respect to land in Mathare constituency, in a ward that has a population of about 30,000 people, allocated to a police station. This is a ward that has registered voters, it has IEBC, it has institutions of government, yet the title of this land is in the name of a police station. The Implementation Committee is seized of this matter, and therefore, even as we look at this petition, we must ask the Implementation Committee to also take its work seriously so that Parliament does not make its decisions in vain. I thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Mangale Chiforomondo.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Where is he?
I rise to support the petition by Honorable Owen Buyer for Munarani this land issue, Mr. Speaker, in Coast Region is one thing. And I think the petition has come at the right time so that the people of Mnarani can get their rightfully explained by the mover. I want to say Mnarani is now occupied by so many people. And I wish this House and even the committee which is concerned will be taking this issue very seriously and expedite the process so that the people of Mnarani will get their right. Because in Coast Region, in fact, I can just give an example of yesterday, Mr. Speaker. I got a phone from a place called Kanana, where already people are being evacuated because of the same issue. The land injustice is real around the Coast Region. And this is the time that, Mr. Speaker, we put our foot down so that the people of Coast and even Kenya at large, they actually get what is rightfully theirs. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for this chance.
Mbunge wa Mandera West, Adan Haji.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for giving me this opportunity. I also stand to support the petition by Honorable Owen Baya. This issue of absent landlords who are there, who came with the British and were given the African land, and after independence they could not survive here. They went back and they left nobody, or the people they left could not maintain that land. When the indigenous people claim those lands and they are being told they are squatters, I think this is very unfortunate, and therefore I will request the concerned committee to look this in depth. It's not only Kilifi, that's what is on the table now, but many parts of this country, the same problems are there. I therefore support the petition of Honorable Owen Baya. Thank you.
Charles Ngusia. Give Honorable Ngusia a working mic. Take the next.
Thank you, Speaker. I rise to support this timely petition, Mr. Speaker. I have known these people who are occupying this ward many years ago, like 20 years ago, and most of them are my friends. Mr. Speaker, I'm supporting them because already they have done a lot of developments there, including a very important school I know, and which is housed in many communities, Mr. Speaker. This issue actually is cutting across entire country in Kenya, and Mr. Speaker, it's high time we deal it and we arrest all these issues. I would like to thank the committee. I had a similar issue last year and they fixed it. So, Mr. Speaker, I'm looking forward to fixing up this issue by the Land Committee soonest possible so that the people in Kilifi can get justice. Thank you.
Wa mwisho, Beatrice Adagala.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Speaker. I want to support this petition by Honorable Baya concerning land issues. Mr. Speaker, sir, land issues is an emotive issue because we've had several places whereby people have been displaced out of their land, and the Kilifi issue has been there. I think, Mr. Speaker, sir, this issue should be looked into. And even other areas, there are several areas, even from where I come from, in around Hamisi, Kwawosa area, those people have not received their title deeds. Therefore, this petition, I'm supporting it. And also other areas like Maseno and other places in this country, Mr. Speaker. The issue should be looked into and be solved once for all, so that Kenyans should not